I died way too many times, but I did the quest, plundered the dungeons, killed the dragon, and grew way too many pumpkins for one person. But I definitely messed some things up along the way, and apparently I need to open up more. So I'm going to tell you about it. And if you're heading into Fellhollow today, at least one of these things is going to save you. So without further ado, here's 5 things I wish I knew. So the first thing I wish I knew before I started is that, yes, this is a RuneScape game. Guess what? The green dragons and the Zogres can be safe spotted. Not sure whether it was an ego thing, a pride thing, or whether or not I'm just a total idiot, but I definitely spent way too much time and way too many deaths trying to fight the green dragons and the Zogres up front, face to face, mano. So a few of the safe spots that I like to use is Silverthorn Keep. I've set up a lodestone up the top here so I can spawn in, and I'm still trying to get the Ring of Recall and the Ring of Pursuit from the green dragons, so I'm just raining down shots from above. I did fall down one time though, and I died straight away, so be careful of that. And even this green dragon in Emberwood, you can use the pillars to deflect most of the damage, and you can also wind step up on top of there as well. And for the Zogres, these are absolute idiots. Sometimes they even get stuck in the terrain, but you can kite the one up near the Imaru tower down past this tree here. Just be careful not to fall off the edge and watch out for the flying boulder attack. And also the Zogres in the caves and in the dungeon, they can be kited behind walls. Also, a little tip for this cave Zogre: if you only mine a few of the rocks on the outside, you can kite him back across and just fire shots with range or magic through the hole. Again, watch out for that boulder throw. So yeah, most of the demi bosses with a little bit of creativity can be safe spotted. This next one might seem real obvious because I imagine that a lot of you might have discovered this quite early on into Fellhollow, but embarrassingly took me quite a bit of time. So yes, while venturing around, I did see pumpkins around, and I just assumed, yep, that's going to be for a higher tier of food and also for farming. I was aware of that, but honestly, I'm not a big fan of the food system in this game. I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze. In other words, I don't think the effort to make the higher tier foods is actually worth it. But let me tell you that when I discovered that pumpkins heal armor over time, that was an absolute game changer for me. So if you just replace your regular food with the roast pumpkin, the pumpkin soup, or even the pumpkin spiced infusion, that is absolutely going to reduce the amount of woodstones you're going to need. Which is great because I was so bored of making those all the time anyway, and now I have more rune essence to use on my actual runes. Of course, you're still going to want to use ward stones against Imaru and the bosses, but this is great to give you passive healing on your explorations and during quests. You can now consider me an honorary white girl. I love pumpkin spice. Moving on to number 3. So of course I entered Fellhollow with the same intentions. Go explore, find the crafting materials, and make the best weapons possible. And actually, this is one of the things I should have done first, is go and do the even more restless ghost quest, which I actually have a guide for on this channel, and get myself the Dorgeshin crossbow. It's a real easy, quick quest, and the reward I think is excellent. The Dorgeshin crossbow fires bone bolts, which is a 1 ingredient item. All you need is undead bones for this, making it really cheap to use. It has a passive ability which shoots 25% faster and also applies a bleed effect, which is really good against green dragons. And of course, because it's a crossbow, you can wear a shield with it as well. And listen, I know range isn't great at the moment in this game, and I'm really hoping for a range buff to come in soon because I am in love with the ranger's outfit, and I think if we do see that range buff, the Dorgeshin crossbow is gonna be awesome. And even in its current state, it's one of the weapons that if I play through again, I'm gonna get that as soon as I enter the Fellhollow region. Okay, coming in at number 4, and I didn't even find this out until after I killed Imaru. Again, feel like a bit of an idiot for this one, but the fact that when you're using magic in Fellhollow, switching to air runes and using those attacks are so much more effective than fire in this area, it actually changed the game for me when using magic. And not only are the air attacks so much better than fire attacks in the Fellhollow region against most of the enemies, they're actually really good at crowd control and using stun. You can use the right click for the air attack and it's going to stun the opponents, knock them to the ground. This is is actually great against those dragon wolves, which can be very annoying for mage users. And this actually prompted me to open up the world journal and look at the weaknesses and resistances of all the enemies. Very useful tip to actually go in there and take a look at these, especially when entering new areas. And I'm also excited for the future because I'm fairly sure we're going to get some enemies that are weak to water. Maybe the Tazar will be joining us, and then there's probably going to be some enemies where we're going to get some cool earth spells to use as well. Very excited for the future of magic. And the final thing I wish I knew is that lore runes are more expensive than Bitcoin. So obviously pre-Fellhollow, yes, I was traveling around using the lodestones, of course, but naturally rune essence is pretty easy to come by. You don't need to make too many lore runes going back and forth. But I found out in the worst possible way that the lore rune cost is actually linked to the distance and also the weight you're carrying. So imagine me, finally survived, got through a dungeon, inventory full of loot, time to head home and put all this to good use. And then I go ahead and step on a lodestone and it said, sorry buddy, you're too chunky to ride this train. And at the time, I didn't even know that it was weight related and I could have dropped something and still teleported back. Yes, I'm ashamed to admit, I ran all the way home, back through Death's office, all the way through Gornfell, straight to my house in Bramblemead. It probably took me about 30 minutes. So yeah, one piece of advice for the loot goblins out there, make sure that you have enough lore runes with you to get there and of course get back, because you don't want to be in the position that I am, where you've either got to drop some loot or you've got to run all the way back, which let me tell you is absolutely painful. And those are my top 5 things I wish I knew before I started Fellhollow. If you guys have any tips, leave them in the comments below, and if this video helped you at all, drop me a like. Ciao ciao.